Okay, so let's wait for 5 more minutes. Then we'll start with the session. Hello everyone, a very good evening to everyone present here. Today, on the behalf of Techsahead, I take the pleasure to welcome you all to the session of What Recruiters Really Want. Our community is an open platform for all the students to learn and grow together. At Techsahead, we believe in the power of knowledge to enhance humanity and make greater impacts. For tech enthusiasts, budding entrepreneurs, designers, and curious learners, Techsahead is here for you. We organize peer to peer learning sessions, engage with people, and make sure you learn from the best. Before we start the event, let's welcome our speaker, Jasmine Oberoi. She is Director Human Resources at Pebble HR Solutions. I want to inform you all that we'll take up the Q&A round at the end. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, please let us know in the chat section. Also, feedback forms will be provided anytime during the session, and only those who fill the feedback form will get the certificates. So, without wasting much time, I hand over the stage to our respected speaker, Jasmine. Over to you, Jasmine.
Thank you so much, Sunanshik. So, hi everyone. My name is Jasmine Oberoi. I work in the capacity of Director Recruitment at Pebbles HR Solutions, Chandigarh. Just like you people, I started my career with HCL. I did my internship in HCL, and thereafter I joined Wipro Infotech. So where I've worked with a lot of big names. I worked with clients like Genpact, GE. In my tenure during all of these companies where I worked, um, I was able to learn the insides of survival in a multinational company. I have been asked to help you guys today answer the basic questions that have been bugging you people out there, especially in these difficult times. What do recruiters want? What will I say in the interview? If it's a virtual interview, how will the recruiter know about me? What if my technical skills are not enough? I am not an alma mater of a prestigious institute. Will the recruiters still consider me? How will I prepare myself? Don't worry, I'm here to answer all your questions today. So, beginning with the first entry point, your resume. Resume is the first impression that a recruiter gets about you. Not your face, not your voice tone, your resume. It is the entry point for you people. Every day I read about 30 to 50 resume. I shortlist 30 to 50 resumes every day. And one constant thought that bugs me every time is this particular person is capable, but in the first 5 seconds, I've probably lost my interest just because of his resume. So today I'm going to tell a few do's and don'ts about your resume. Now, resume building is a vast topic, especially for freshers, because freshers like you, most of freshers like you, they have a very basic question. What should I write in my resume? I don't have any kind of experience, right? So here are some of the do's and don'ts. First 5 lines of your resume should be bang on. You should be able to explain yourself in the first 5 lines. Customize your resume according to the company you are applying for. You have to focus on your positive skills. You have to make points before writing down a resume, before jotting down whatever you want to explain about yourself in a resume. You need to make bullet points. You have to list all the important and relative information in it. You have to not only qualify, but you also have to quantify your experience wherever possible. And especially, try doing it in a reverse chronological order. You have to mention your proficiency. So for example, if you're a fresher, you should at least be able to explain the recruiter or the person reading your resume how proficient you are in the languages. So, for example, if you're an Android developer, you need to be able to rate yourself out of 5 points. That's probably one eye catching thing for the recruiter to say. But there are some don'ts as well in resume building. Do not make general claims. Never, never do that. And never ever mislead the employers about your GPA, your skills, and your objectives, they have to be very eye catchy. They should never be long and generic. Objective is actually where recruiters, they lose their interest. Most of the recruiters, they don't even read your objective. You have to modify it according to what the recruiter want. And make sure your resume is never more than 2 pages. It should never be more than 2 pages. All right. So the second point, the basic point that comes is job preparation. In these difficult times where virtual interviews are taking over the face to face interviews, many of you will be like, how are we going to prepare for virtual interviews? Try doing mock interviews. Try watching YouTube videos of mock interviews. That's going to really help you prepare yourself, especially freshers. You know, do your homework about the company and the position you are applying for. So, in basic questions that a recruiter asks, I am sure you might be, most of you might be, having this question in your mind. How should I answer? Tell me something about yourself, right? So, don't worry. You always have to keep in mind three basic points: the past, the present, and the future. For example, if the recruiter asks, tell me something about you, tell me something about yourself, just take these three steps. Talk about the present, the current role, your current ambitions, whatever achievements you've made, be it certifications, be it projects you've completed, talk about it. The past, your previous experience, in case you have any. And if you don't have any previous experience, if you're a fresher, talk about what achievements you've made during your internship. Or in case if you're applying for an internship and you do not have any kind of experience, talk about the projects you've done. Talk about the accomplishments, your accomplishments in your college. I'm sure all of you must be having some or the other, right? And then talk about the future. Why are you interested in this role? Be passionate, be positive about yourself, and sound assertive. This is something that you all need to learn, especially the freshers. So go ahead, Google, prepare yourself, do your homework for all of these questions. And if these questions gives you goosebumps, I'm sure, reading it out loud and practicing it in front of anybody or everyone will really help you. Second, in virtual interviews, for example, how good are your hard skills if you do not have any kind of soft skills? Are they valuable? Are any of your hard skills valuable if you do not have or you do not work upon your soft skills? No matter how much, how good a coder you are, but if you are not able to communicate or listen to the needs of your team member or your boss, it's of no use. You need to work upon your adaptability. You need to work upon your self management. For some people, soft skills, they come naturally. For others, they need to be taught. This is nothing to be ashamed of. Take a workshop, go ahead, cultivate your soft skills. Talk slowly to the recruiter. You have to be patient in learning a new thing, right? The second thing, body language. How to say is not really is really important than what to say. Do not quantify your things about yourself, but you have to make it more elaborate in short words. Don't be plumb. Sit up straight, especially in a virtual meeting, because you are already confined to a small screen. Open yourself, be comfortable, dress properly, especially the upper half, because that's the only thing that's visible to the recruiter, right? In an online interview. For girls, you have to follow a proper dress code, a formal dress code. Can be shirts, can be formal tops, can be saris. For boys, you have to follow the dress code again. It has to be shirts, shirt with a tie, right? You have to be properly groomed, especially guys. Your hair should be properly tied up or properly combed. You should be fully groomed. a grooming, it helps you feel better about yourself, right? Now, some very basic points about virtual interviews. Since virtual interviews are probably the in thing right now, technology failure is not in our hands. Always log in before, at least 15 minutes before your interview time. No last time surprises. You should always have a backup plan. For example, if you are joined on a Wi Fi and technology failure, you should always have a hotspot as a backup. And in the current scenario, plus it is normal to communicate to the recruiter that there has been a failure if nothing ends up or nothing works out. And you can, request the recruiter to reschedule the interview. It is absolutely okay. We recruiters, we understand problems, right? Next, the basic thing that a recruiter wants or to see is your creative thinking. Creative thinking is invaluable. Think outside the box. You should be able to troubleshoot on your feet and remain calm when everyone around you is in panic mode. You need to pull up your socks. You need to understand the dynamics of how to apply creative thinking. We recruiters, we always welcome and look forward to creative thinking. you know Knowing which career you want or which career you want to pursue will inform the type of education you need. Besides your formal education, work and invest in your soft skills, like I said earlier. And being reliable and well rounded is one of the traits that we recruiters we applaud. This will ensure that the recruiter or the employer will be more likely to consider you as a potential candidate, as well as give you some amazing life skills for the future as well. Next, education. Now, education is one such topic which is very controversial and very widely discussed. The question whether college degrees are, becoming obsolete is being brought up by in discussion by the business owners and the colleges. Statistics, they show that formal education is still important to employer, but not in the same way that it used to be in earlier times. Degrees from a non-traditional school can be as valuable as from a prestigious college, depending upon the field of your study. Educational value is all about context. It's all about context. There comes your technical skills as well. For people who have this question in their mind, how will I be able to clear the technical round? Don't worry, upskill yourself whenever you feel like. You have to upskill yourself. There's a lot of competition out there. You need to have a skill that would make you stand out of a crowd. We all do. And this is where the recruiter will be able to point you out. Employers are aware that having a certificate from a very accredited technical school that solely teaches computer coding, for example, can be just as useful as a bachelor's degree in the same field. Now, the next point you need to keep in mind for you to crack an interview are your key selling points. You need to be out there in the market to sell yourself as a product. How are you going to do that? One, technically, like I said, you have to upskill yourself. You have to be proficient enough. Whenever you write something in your resume, just ask a question: how proficient I am in this skill? If you feel you are a 2 out of 5, go ahead, mention in your resume you are a 2 out of 5. If you feel you are a 5 out of 5 in this skill, especially a technical one, go ahead. Recruiters, they appreciate this honesty. They would really appreciate looking at your resume and seeing the number 5 or the number 2 out of 5. Now, third is upskilling yourself. By the term upskilling, I mean don't be random. I have encountered a lot of people. I have seen people going behind, for example, SAP or cloud computing, just because the herd is going. Certifications will reflect in your career trajectory. Don't divert them. It will be only and only bad for you if you divert it. But if you are sure enough that you need to turn your career direction to something else, then go ahead with it. Upskill your soft skills as well. Employers, they really appreciate honesty in this regard as well. For someone who has good potential technically, he or she will be recruited in fraction of seconds if you have good body language, good skills. Make eye contact, not only when facing a face to face interview, but also virtually. Do not fumble. This shows lack of confidence. You have to be confident. You are selling yourself, right? Now, there are some questions that I feel I should answer, especially for new joiners or for freshers. How do you approach for internships, right? Paid internship or free internship? Now, what exactly is the scenario? Internships are individualized and tailored to the needs and interest of each of the students in the program. As a part of internship experience, students are expected to take active role in finding an appropriate internship as well. Do not rely upon the recruiters or companies to come and call you, give you a call. No, you have to be proactive in looking for internships. Many students, they pursue their own contacts. That's really nice. If you have contacts, then why not use them? However, information is always available as well. You know, go online, go to LinkedIn, put your resume on monster.com. There are a lot of companies that have internship programs as well. you know Based on the time of the year, there are a lot of internships. There are semester internships, there are quarterly internships, summer internships, fall internships, spring internships, holiday or winter internships as well. It is also possible for you to work with interns, to work as an intern for a longer duration if the company likes you. There are companies who give stipend to you people as well. In fact, most of the companies, they give stipend to their interns. Visit the company's website, do your homework, make a list of all the companies that you are interested in going in inside as an intern. Contact the HR, read about the company, contact their learning and development department of the company. Some company, they even have their intern batches, especially brands like ISB, Indian School of Business, and some hospitality brands. They have their intern positions available as well. After that, if an intern performs well, they are he or she is highly likely to be hired by the company as a full-time employee. The key is to perform well as an intern. IT companies, they have also launched their intern programs nowadays in organizations as well. Students should avoid giving money, I feel, to the big companies, because big companies, they never demand money for internships. No. Approach these companies or search about company internships through, there are various platforms. There are, for example, Internshala is one very reliable internship website which you guys can follow. So these are some of the very basic tips that you should always be able to follow, or you should always be able to go ahead with whenever you have to crack an interview. So these tips are not only useful for freshers, but also for people who want to shift their career or shift their job from some company to new company. Always remember, mention your career trajectory in a reverse chronological order. You should be aware of what you have written in your resume. Do not lie on your resume. You should not mumble or you should not fumble whenever the recruiter asks or pinpoints anything on your resume. The first 5 seconds of your resume are very, very, very important because that is where you would be able to hold up your recruiter. So I guess this is all what I had to offer. Now, in case you guys have any questions, so Sonanshi, can you please help me with some of the questions that people have?
Yeah, thank you, Jasmine, for delivering such a helpful and insightful session.
Yeah,
I hope our audience was able to relate.
yeah,
So let's begin with the Q&A round now. So
yeah.
the first question that we have is, what was the major challenge in college and why? How to answer this question?
What was the major challenge in college? All right. See, you guys need to be able to stand out in a crowd. You know, you have college is a crowd, right? So you have various sections. For example, I still remember my first ever interview. I was really nervous. I thought I would never be able to ace the technical round, but somehow I did. Then came the second round. Then came the third round. I was throughout nervous. But one thing I had in my mind for sure that I am most confident about myself amongst all of the people around. You know, you have to sell one point. I was a good speaker. I sold it. The company hired me, not only because of my technical skills, but also because of my soft skills. So you should at least have one point in your resume, one bullet point in your resume that you think you could highlight, or at least, you know, whenever you feel the interview is not probably going according to you, you can always try and bring back to that one bullet point. Yes.
Okay, so next we have, what things are you looking to do more of in your next job and what are you looking to do less of?
Uh, Less of, see, we recruiters, we don't really like reading long resumes. I have seen resumes, I have read resumes of people who have just 2 years of experience and they have a 4 page resume. Believe me, nobody has the patience to go through a 4 page resume. Your resume should always and always be between 2 pages. No matter you are a fresher, no matter you are somebody who has been already working, you should be able to know what to prioritize in your resume. So this is one very off thing that we recruiters have. Yeah.
Okay, so next question we have in our comments is, what techniques do you use to find the perfect person for a job?
All right. So there are companies who have a lot of rounds of interviews, right? So the first round is always the screening round. Like I said, the first is always screening your resume. You know, there is a team of people who are sitting and scanning your resumes. This is where I say that, you know, I read 30 resumes. I have people who read about around 100 resumes in a day, and then they shortlist those 100 resumes and give me the 30 resumes. So those 30 resumes are my responsibility where I have to read. But so imagine if somebody like me can lose interest in first 5 minutes of your resume. So the ones who are reading like hundreds of resumes every day, you at least can, you know, give them a leverage of finding one such point in your resume that would be like, bam, this is the guy I have. This is where highlighting your proficiency technically or so in soft skills is very, very, very important. This is why I have been, you know, laying emphasis on telling the recruiter or the person reading your resume how proficient you are, especially technically. You should be able to, you know, no matter you've done SQL in like college time or second year, if you haven't done it in the last 2 years, then be kind enough to, you know, at least add it in your resume, but be kind enough to put it in your proficiency as well. That all right, I did it like 2 years back, so probably I have a proficiency of two. Yeah, I hope that answers a lot of questions.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
the next question is, does recommendations make us stand out?
In some companies, yes, they do. But eventually, see, recommendations will only and only work if, probably recommendations will only be able to take you ahead in probably 2 rounds of interviews. That's it. Rest is your own skill. You have to upskill, or you have to sell yourself according to yourself. Nobody's gonna come and do your technical paper, right? You should know how to do it. You should be able to clear that technical round. Nobody's going to do that for you. Yes, your resume might be pushed to the HR before it would have actually been pushed by somebody known. But yes, end of the day, you will be hired if you have the potential. That's it. So nobody,
Okay.
none of the employers, they need someone who cannot work. None of the employers will be ready to pay you for something you actually cannot do. And
Yeah,
employers,
that's
they
true.
just take like 2 minutes to chuck you out of the company if you do not perform well.
Yeah, yeah. So next question. Should we focus and master a single skill or be an all-rounder knowing everything narrowly?
Uh, See, that question is very personal. I'll say it's very personal because there are some companies that really like candidates who are jack of all trades and master of none. But there are some companies who would really, really, really like somebody to be proficient or highly proficient enough in one skill. That depends upon the requirement of the recruiter. For example, if you are a fresher, so, you have to highlight all your key points, all the technical points you have. But on the other hand, if you are already working, and you need to shift, you need to switch your job, and you have some company or dream company in your mind. All right, you go to LinkedIn someday, or you go to monster.com, or you get to know through their website that they are hiring, and this is the skill that they need. Yes, then of course you need to pinpoint on one. You need to work on one skill, definitely.
Okay, great. Is it necessary to put a picture on resume?
No, it's not necessary to put a picture on resume, of course, because it is necessary to look good in an interview. It's not necessary to look good in your resume, because your resume is not about how you look. Your resume is not about how presentable you are, or how beautiful you are, or how smart you are. No, it's about what skills you have, and how did you get those skills, or how hard did you work to achieve your skills. It's not at all necessary to put up a picture on your resume.
Okay. Should we follow any kind of chronology for putting up details in our resume?
Yes, you should. You should always follow in a reverse chronological order. You should always pinpoint or write down the projects or assignments you have accomplished, or any kind of achievements you have made uh, before anything that is not really relevant. For example, if I say I've been working in a company where I was star of the quarter, so this is something that is really to be highlighted. So that this should be the first thing that somebody who reads your resume should be able to pinpoint. All right, this person was star of the quarter. Yes, he might have had he might have something in him, because the company gave him star of the quarter award. So yes, you need to definitely follow a reverse chronological order. It is always preferable to, or follow a reverse chronological order.
Okay, great. Being friendly with the recruiter is fine.
Yeah. That actually depends, because you should always be humble, not friendly, I'll say, but yes, humble. Humble is the correct word. You should be able to And do not be very humble to the extent that you're saying sorry on everything. No, don't do that. Don't be don't be apologetic for something that is not in your hands. That means, you have to be a people pleaser, but not at the cost of something valuable that you hold. So, yes, there are some cases where people get over friendly with the recruiter. It is always give and take. So, if you feel that the recruiter is as good as a person as you feel he or she is, then it's okay, but that should be done till a limit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So the next question we have, which are those projects which are must your in a resume when you're from IT background?
Your projects, the ones that you have accomplished in your 4 years of degree. For example, if you are a bachelor's in computer science or in IT, all the projects that you have made, be it a combined project, be it a group project, in colleges we have group projects as well. People make huge websites or applications. People develop huge websites or application in colleges with the help of other people. Do not be afraid to point it out in your resume that yes, you were part of a group where you made such a website or you developed such an application. You should always be uh, you should always try and hype yourself, but do not overdo it. And especially if you have done any kind of internships, so whatever projects you have done, completed, or have been a part of, you should always mention that in your resume.
Okay. So here we have, if academically someone is not so good, how to grab attention of the recruiter.
See, this is what I probably mentioned. The education, uh, to some recruiters, yes, it is a very high point, but to other recruiters, it is not. There are a lot of recruiters who value the potential, who value your technical potential more than your college CGPA. And if you have to grab the attention of a recruiter, like I said again, you have to at least pinpoint one such skill that you have to be confident about one such skill, be it soft skills. Try and work upon your soft skill. Then if you are not academically sound enough, then you should know which part are you sound enough to highlight it to the recruiter. So go, grab it, and try making yourself stand out in the crowd using that one point.
Okay. So next
Yeah.
we have how to stand out while approaching a recruiter off campus.
Off campus, see, there is a lot of difference between off campus placements and in campus placements. In campus placements, you have the benefit of being inside your own you know what do you call it, what's the exact word for that, in your own comfort level, right? But yes, off campus, to be honest, sharing a personal detail, I was in off campus recruitment. I was a joint campus recruitment. I competed with against around 300 or 400 candidates, where I was amongst the top 10 who got selected. But honestly, I wasn't really, at that time I even had the same self doubt that you people have on how to how would I stand out, how would the recruiter approach me. This is where my technical and soft skill helped me. Technical skills, yes, I can understand. 9 out of 10 people, they have good technical skills. But then comes the HR part. This is where the HR part or your soft skills work. You have to be confident enough. You have to be crisp. You have to look crisp, so that the recruiter you may be able to grab the recruiter's attention in like a fraction of second. You need to have something inside you that the recruiter should be, you need to have that level of confidence inside you that the recruiter should be able to say, all right, yes, this might be the person. Yeah.
That was a great answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you give an example of the best resume that you remember till date?
Yes. I read a resume for one of the positions in a, in a marketing firm, and the person had 4 years of experience, and his resume was probably around 1.5 page. Now imagine squeezing everything you've done till now, your college, your school education, your college education, your objectives, your proficiency, your work experience in the last 4 years. Imagine squeezing that in just 1.5 page. How good resume that would have been. Just imagine. And what was the most capturing part was uh, the way his projects or previous accomplishments were mentioned. The accomplishments were not really very much or highly speakable, but the confidence that the person showed on himself through the resume was highly plausible, at least to me. And that person
Okay,
got selected as well.
okay. So next we have the best place to just have a practice or idea of how to make a brilliant resume or get knowledge too.
Okay, so there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of websites, there are a lot of templates. Google, just Google it. Google is probably everybody's savior. Google is my savior. Google is your savior. The best places to upskill yourself is Google. You can go ahead with Udemy. So make an account on Udemy. Udemy has all kinds of courses available, be it soft skill, be it personal, be it technical. And Udemy is one of the organizations that are highly speakable of right now. So even if you open a LinkedIn account and you see somebody who's been posting something about himself or herself, I think every second person on Udemy, or sorry, on LinkedIn, has upskilled himself or herself using Udemy. I have done it. I mean, I have done it myself. So, yes, that's like a first hand experience. So, learning never stops. This is why I say you should never ever feel ashamed of something you do not have. If you feel you do not have the soft skills enough to get hired by a company, or you feel that your team is not being able to understand, there's no harm in going ahead and doing a soft skill course on Udemy. So there are a couple of free courses on Udemy as well, and there are a couple of paid courses on Udemy as well. Now, the paid courses, they also provide you certifications. And like I said, all these certifications become a part of your trajectory, your career trajectory, and they are highly speakable of as well.
Okay, so next question our audience is asking is modern resumes or simple single paper resumes?
That's a very tricky question because, like I said again, the recruiter, he or she doesn't really have the time to pinpoint on whether it's a modern resume or a very old fashioned resume. You yourself need to understand what is the difference between a modern resume and an old fashioned resume. Single paper resume, yes, I know, but it's not really, you are not really able to make a single page resume, because if you make a single page resume, that means you are really using small fonts, and you're cramping up all your resume, so that the recruiter has to read it like, oh no, please don't do that. This is where you can extend your resume to 2 pages maximum, even if you're a fresher, or even if you have experience. please try and do not exceed your resume for more than 2 pages, because you, in case you are a fresher, you have to mention your skills, you have to mention your hobbies, or what do you like to do, or your, what would you like to accomplish in your objectives as well. So you have to write your objective, you have to write your name, you have to write your address and phone number or contact number. And do remember to sign your resume before sending it to any of the recruiters. By signing, I mean there should be a date stamp on it. There should be an updated date stamp on it. The recruiter doesn't know. I have faced problems where I have forwarded resumes to some companies, and then the candidates are calling me and saying that, ma'am, I'm so sorry, that resume was not updated. Please don't do that. If you have to send your resume to a company, or if you have to send your resume, it should be updated. If you feel any kind of discrepancy in your resume, please tell the recruiter to hold on for like another 10 minutes or half an hour. Quickly, update your resume and then send it. But do not withdraw your resume just because it wasn't updated.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Yeah.
next question we have from Sneha is, what type of questions are there for EC students? And is coding really important for any top company?
Yes, coding is important for IT companies, especially because the main thing is for IT professionals, especially ECE professionals, ECE engineering, or say computer science engineering, or say IT engineering. You are not going to be hired on a manager position, right? So you have to take baby steps. Everybody takes baby steps. You will be hired, if you are approaching an IT firm, you will be hired as a entry level coder, so you have to work as an entry level coder. And to make yourself stand out in a team, if you have been assigned a project that is completely and totally technical, then yes, you have to be technically sound enough. But then there are companies who hire candidates not for projects that are related to coding or development, but are also related to say products. So there are ERP applications. There are companies, there are big enough companies who are going ahead and buying products from big companies like Oracle and IBM, basic attendance system, or probably their internal social networking sites. All of these are basically products of big companies. So there are companies who hire you for maintenance of those websites or maintenance of those applications. In such cases, you probably do not need a lot of coding in that, because those are mainly ERP applications where you would have to solve customer grievances, that this happened and this happened, so please go ahead and solve it. But yes, a basic coding experience or a basic coding knowledge, yes, you should have. And going ahead with what syllabus or what are we being taught in engineering, for not only for ECE, for computer science, for IT as well. Coding is a subject that has been included in your degree as well. So yes, I will say you should have something that is some knowledge about coding, yes, so that you should be at least able to tell the recruiter that yes, I have done it. But what going ahead, that the company has to decide if you have to be hired for an ERP application, or you have to be hired for a coding or backend thing.
Okay, so next we have, what about doing multiple courses for the same technology?
That's okay. That's really nice. Multiple courses, but you have to make sure that those courses are not repetitive. I mean, there's no point, paying for courses which have repetition. So if you have completed one course, say of like 4 hours or 3 days or so on, if it's an online course, then yes, it's hourly based. If you have completed those courses, make sure that the next course that you apply for should not cover whatever has been taught in the previous course, or it should be something which is above of what was covered in the previous course, or just an overview of what was covered in the previous course and the extension. So getting certifications for the same course again and again, I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So next we have how to find that the company is verified or not verified and how to trust on that company.
How to trust on that company? See, I can understand there are a lot of grievances which people have faced in the past years. There have been a lot of frauds as well. But rest assured, before joining and before signing a contract, do your homework. Just pull up some of your strings and try and get at least someone to talk about the company or the company culture. See, everybody needs to do that. This is something that all the freshers or even experienced people they should know. So whenever you are being called or you are given a call that okay, your resume has been selected for this company for so and so post, please feel free to call the person and ask him to send the job requirement or the job description and a little overview of the company. What exactly does the company want, or what exactly does the company has to offer, and what exactly is the position that the company is basically hiring for. Visit the company's website. You have every company has numbers and address. Try to pull some strings in case you are that paranoid. And it's not always being about that paranoid. Yes, if you are you are trying to get into a job and you are looking for a job, yes, I can feel that these are some points that you should at least take care of.
Okay. So next we have how to make a recruiter believe that you have the potential for a job while applying for a job where your experience is less than required.
See, there for most of the cases, the recruiters, they will not never follow they will never forward your resume to the concerned team if you do not fall into that experience criteria. For example, if the recruiter needs 8 years of experience and you have only 4 years of experience, the gap is quite a lot, right? It's basically double the experience. So obviously, the recruiter will be looking for somebody who has at least not 8, but at least 7 years of experience. That is probably the threshold the recruiters are ready to manage. But if the experience difference is more than that, then it becomes a little hard for the recruiter to, or a little hard for you people to at least convince the recruiter that yes, I am a capable person, because that's just how the industry works.
Yeah. So next we have if applying to a product based from a service based company background, what things we have to keep in our mind?
For a service-based company, see, the service-based company and uh, a product-based company work probably on the same terms. So when you say that if applying to a product based company, there is no way for you to find out that it is a product based company, first of all, because most of the times the products are being customized according to the company's needs. So no company is basically using a product as it is, it has been given. Every company needs to customize whatever product they are incorporating in their company. And for making a change from service based company to product based company, there is always a good thing to talk to seniors and somebody from the same professional background who has probably done this thing, who has already made a shift from this to this. There are a couple of websites that give a lot of good insights as well. For example, Quora is one of the websites that I really like to follow, because you can pinpoint your, or you can jot down your questions, and there is always somebody or the other to help you on any such kind of queries you have regarding your professional background. So for, who knows, you might get lucky enough to get an answer from someone highly experienced in this field as well. So just go ahead, use your social networking, and try and make the best out of it.
Yeah, so next question we have is any cold mailing tips for reaching out recruiters on LinkedIn?
For reaching out recruiters on, see, most of the times recruiters, they post on LinkedIn saying that we have a requirement and so and so. So it is always advisable to put on your to send your resume to the mentioned email address, or if the recruiter has said, all right, just DM me. You should always follow up once or twice if you feel that the recruiter has not replied to you, because it is always advisable to, yes, do a follow up, but till a certain extent. Because most of the times, for example, if a recruiter has posted one of the posts, one of positions on LinkedIn, and there are like hundreds of posts, the recruiter might be only able to get through the first 50, right? So the next 50 will not be able to be shortlisted, or probably even for that matter come under the consideration of the recruiter. For the mailing tip that I can probably give you is, just give a gist in the subject itself. Your subject of the resume should be your name underscore the experience you have underscore, and if you do not have any kind of experience, you should write fresher and underscore what you have done, or for that instance what kind of job you are looking for. So your subject, yes, is probably one part where you can try and grab the recruiter's attention.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine. That's all from our side. It
All right,
was
thank you
great
so
having
much.
you
I
here.
had such a great time. I would really take just 2 minutes of you, for you people from your time to at least give one overview of my company, our company. Like I said, I'm director recruitment from Pebbles HR Solutions. So Pebbles HR Solutions is basically a boutique HR firm where we provide HR solutions to companies for candidates like you. And we also offer programs like interview preparation courses and soft skill trainings and virtual interview preparation courses. So we also recruit globally for IT and non-IT positions as well. We have worked with a lot of good brands like Accenture, Cipla, Citibank, Barclays, and many more, of course. We do not provide internships, but yes, we will be there to help you whenever you guys feel any kind of issue. You can approach us for resume building and all of the courses that we've mentioned. Do visit our website, and we have our branches in Australia and Philippines as well. So we just opened up a new branch in Philippines in the last 15 days. So that's all from my side. I would just like to conclude by saying that ends are not a bad thing actually, because that just means that something good is coming up your way. So just keep calm and believe in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. That's it. So
Thank you,
thank you
Jasmine.
so much.
It was great having you with us.
Thank you so much.
Also, if any questions are left, feel free to ask them in the tomorrow session. Tomorrow we have a session on networking 101 at 6 p.m. So don't forget to join us there. Also, feedback forms have been shared in the comment section. Please fill them, then only you will be getting the certificates. Thank you guys for joining us.